And that is the end of the day. All ladders are on the end. Eaves are finished. And if you can see back here, we have the first run of plywood on both sides. It is looking real good. It has been a busy 4.5, 5 days. But all the main structure is up and complete. Everything's fastened in and tied in. Help is heading home, so it'll be left up to me and the wife. We'll finish off the center section here of roof plywood, and then we'll be putting on shingles. That'll be the next step. Well, it's hard to video and work doing this stuff, but all the sheeting on the roof is done and nailed in place. Welcome back. As you can see, we have been busy. Nights have been cold with only an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in the evening by the time we get off work. We lost a full day yesterday with rain. But today it dried up nicely. Sun is shining bright. It is awesome. All the geese are hanging out in the pond. There's got to be about 300 of them over there now. But it was good to get this done. Our next step is going to be to throw on the drip edge. And we're going to try to get the synthetic membrane on top of this. And we'll just tack it down for now, covering all the nails with some tape, just so we don't get that dripping coming through, because it looks like we got snow coming in about 3 or 4 days. And that is the roof sealed in. Sorry for the low quality on the video in this section. It is getting quite dark. But I have my drip edge all on, rake edge on, everything's sealed up and taped. We do have snow coming in a couple days by the sounds of it, so I was happy to get this on. Just a little bit of cleanup, finish off a refreshment or two, and we'll call it a night. So winter is most definitely in the air, but got to get this roof done. Just like in the last video there, all the membrane is on, sealed up, drip edge and rake edge is on. It's now the time to jump on the shingles. So we got an architectural shingle, got some starter strips, got ridge cap, ridge vent, and our box of coil nails. We're going to hit it hard today and see how much we can get done. And just like magic, the roof is done. All except for the ridge cap, which is actually going to be a ridge vent that goes on there as well too. Had 2 nailers going today. Had some good help, which really made this project go fast. And from over 42 feet from one end to the other, rode about 1/4 inch. So I think that's pretty darn good. So next step, be cutting out the 4-inch section in the middle here. This is just shingle. There's no wood behind it, just the barrier. So we cut that open. It'll be about 4 inches open, and then we'll run the ridge cap down there. So now that the roof is done, it's time to put on this ridge vent. You see the shingles, they almost come together. They're about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch apart here. But the wood stops back here on both sides. This will be cut out once everything is done, ready to go. But I gotta cut these back, make sure I got some nails all along here, make sure there's enough nails. And this ridge vent will go down the middle, just nice, just like that. And it gets large nails put down it. And then I'll cut some 3 tabs that are the same color as this roof, and that'll be my ridge cap to finish it off and make it look nice. All you'll see is this little exposed edge here that the water can run out, or any snow that gets under there. And it's also filled with this mesh to stop the bugs from getting in. Now, the ridge cap, or ridge vent, where it stops, this actually is the termination line of an next shingle. So what I actually have to do is I have to cut a bundle in half of shingles, in half, right down basically the architectural line, right where this is a single piece of the shingle. This architectural is actually built up into a few layers. So I'll be able to cut it off right at this tar line, nail it on, so that once it goes together, and the cap goes on top. I got 3 inches of exposed shingle, 3 inches inside before there's nails, so no weather can get in there. The vapor barrier will be cut out, and all the air will come in through the eaves for the fascias, or the soffit, and then out through the roof. So anyway, got 40 feet to go from end to end. Roof is actually 42 feet long, but it recommends that I come in at least 12 inches or to the first roof truss on each side. So let's get at her. So the next step to finishing this roof is the cutting the top open for my ridge cap. And I spent the evening here, well, I shouldn't say the evening, not too long, about an hour, putting it on. And it went on pretty good, except for one little wiggle I got right there. But it went on nice. Now, I misread the instructions. I thought the ridge vent only started 12 inches from the end, but actually it meant don't cut the roof open 12 inches from the end. So it's sealed up. The starter shingles overlap both sides, so it's sealed up good. But the ridge cap does go to the end, so unfortunately, I'm a piece short. Roof is 42 feet long, and I only thought I had to do 40 foot of the ridge. So I'm gonna have to pick up another ridge vent. So I guess I'll spend the rest of the evening here cutting up a couple bundles of shingles into ridge cap. So now it's time for ridge cap on the roof. So I got some 3 tabs, standard shingles in the same color as my roof, and we're cutting them all up into the 3 individual tabs, and they'll be installed on the ridge vent. Wind's coming up a bit, so I apologize, but I got the few laid down here, going on quite easy. It's got the appropriate lines on each side of where the nails need to be for the ridge cap, and they just cover up nicely to the perfect size. They leave a nice little gap here for that water that runs off and then runs out the drainage holes. And then if you can see inside there, you can see all the little louvers where it actually vents outside the roof, and they're underneath the shingle by about a 1/2 inch. So continue on. Don't know if I'll get it all done tonight. Might have to continue off tomorrow. That is a wrap. The roof is officially finished. Went back with the roofing tar and dabbed my last couple nails here, just because there's nothing you can do, they got to be on top. And then there was a few small pieces on the side that we had to piece in just because of the length of the roof. So the whole edge is good. Now the next thing would be is just to run a bead of this all the way down the 40-foot lengths, just to help glue those last bit of shingles down. And that is the roof completely done. It can now rain and snow or whatever it wants to do. Well, with the roof being done, now it's time to wrap this thing. Even though that OSB is good for quite a few months out in the weather, it's been dry as a bone here lately, so the wood's dry. I might as well keep it as dry as I can. Now this roll was 100 feet long by 9 feet tall. We got it pretty tight. I did go across the middle, kind of on a zigzag pattern, just to stop it from flapping, because it's probably gonna be a little while that it is left to wrap like this. I have seen new homes go up and Tyvek is on for months. That's all they are, is wrapped up for 3 months just in this with no siding. My luck, the wind will come up and all that will be in the neighbor's field where it shouldn't be. But anyway, did a good job getting it nice and straight. You can just see the blue chalk line there that we ran all the way around, and the wife did an excellent job of holding that tight, and it went on really square. Looking good. As usual, the sun's setting again, so we're going to call it a night. Everything's on there tight, taped up, all seams. I put lots of extra nails across the top of that to make sure it doesn't come open at night. And then on the end here, I don't know if it's going to stay or not, but I end up putting a strip of tape onto the OSB. My thought was that try to stop the wind from getting underneath of it and making it flap or billow out. Don't know if it'll stay, but whatever, it can't hurt. And hopefully it'll stay on for the night. Well, we fought with the wind today, but we got the whole garage wrapped. Taking this big makeshift door off was a pain in the butt. But the garage is fully closed in now. Getting to the peak is always fun. But all in all, job went well. And actually, I'm at the point where I can go no further until I get my inspection done. I've actually gone a little bit past and put the roof on, but that's a story in itself. Not real happy with the inspection guys. You know what, if you're gonna show up, because there's not a lot of good weather left. 3 times they didn't show up, so on went the roof and they can deal with it later. I took pictures and video, of course, you guys see it all on here. If that's not good enough for them, well, too bad. But anyway, that's the end of this video, and that's the end of the work for a little bit here until I can get these guys out and say yes or no on my construction so I can put on the siding.